Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're just going to be testing out some new makeup. I've just accumulated a few new things over the last few weeks, so I thought let's try them all out together. So let me zoom you in and we can get into it. Alright, so just starting with the brows, I want to go in with this Viseart Brow Trio. I recently mentioned this in my May speed reviews and I have been absolutely loving this little trio. It just makes my brows look so good. I feel like I can get a really natural effect from it if I want to. I can just fill in my brows completely as well. I'm going to start with the wax in the bottom. I like to bring this one through the brows before I go in with the powders because the wax just sort of helps grip that powder, and as a result, it lasts all day long. I've always been a big fan of a good brow powder just because I feel like a powder gives a much more natural effect. And you can, of course, always use an eyeshadow. You do not have to use a specific brow powder. These little trios could definitely be used as an eyeshadow as well, but I feel like the wax itself is very stiff. It's definitely meant to be a brow product. The powders I think would be fine as eyeshadows, but I've just been loving this. This is in the shade Medium as well. They do have a larger palette that has all of their brow colors, and I kind of wanted to get that one too because it does have some warmer shades in there. I know a lot of people don't like their brows pulling too warm, but because my hair is a little bit on the warmer side, I don't necessarily mind that if it does. Okay, now that I have that all through the brows, that wax just creates kind of a sticky base that really just helps to grip to these powders and makes them last so much longer. So I am going to go into the lighter shade. I like the lighter shade a little bit more for the inner portions, just so that inner portion of my brow doesn't look too harsh. Lightly pushing that through the front portion of my brow. Just keeping it very simple. Same thing on the other side. Now going into that center brown powder. That's the darkest one, and I do like this one for the outer part of my brow. I could definitely use that lighter shade all over, but I do like the definition that this darker shade gives. And you can see that just gives such a nice sculpt. Sometimes I do go a little too far and they end up a little bit too filled in, but I just love the effect of a powder. All right, and that is the brows all done. I just like how they look when I use this little trio, and then I just want to set that with the Makeup by Mario Brow Gel. This has also been a favorite. For the longest time, I was only exclusively using the Rare Beauty, and I still think that's a favorite. But I have been enjoying this a lot too. This really does lock in the brows, and I actually really like the brush that comes with this. So I do like to sculpt out my brows. I just like to clean up the area around them. So the concealer I've been using and loving a lot recently is actually the Dior Forever Skin Correct. I was not sure if I would like this, and for the longest time I thought I didn't. But I think when I had a sample years ago, I had the wrong shade. So I suspect that's why I thought I wouldn't like this. So just taking that all around the brows. You do not have to do this step. I just like it because I find that it, of course, brightens my brows and really cleans up the edges from where I filled them in if I went too far, but I just like a really clean brow area. And then on the under eyes as well, I've actually been really liking this concealer. It is very creamy. It does give a really nice full coverage. This is one that is going to settle into lines. I would say I still prefer my Natasha Denona that I love so much, but I do love how creamy and high coverage this one is. And a little bit does go a really long way as well. I have the shade 0N, which is my shade in all of the Dior foundations. Alright, so concealer is done. For foundation, I don't have a new one, so I'm just going to go in with the MAC Studio Radiant Serum Powered Foundation. I have the shade NW10. I love this one. I've been using it constantly over the last week. I do have the new MAC Powder Foundation. I'm not the biggest fan of powder foundations all over, but I will kind of use it to set everything and give myself a little bit of extra coverage. This foundation is beautiful. It's a medium coverage. It is very glowy though, but I do love what this does for my skin. It's gorgeous. It's definitely my favorite foundation product that I've ever tried from MAC. Okay, for bronzer, I'm going to go into this new Refi cream bronzer. This is in the shade Dune. I don't think I've tried anything from Refi yet, but these really caught my attention. So the packaging is pretty basic, and this is the shade. This is looking a little bit deep. I think this was the lightest one they had, but it's looking a little bit deep. We'll try it anyway. I'm going to go into the BK Beauty 109 brush. It's got an interesting tone to it. It feels kind of very, very creamy, like it has a little bit of a slit to it when you swatch it out, kind of like it's more of an oil-based formula. This shade almost has like a bit of a rosier undertone to it. So I do think it works very well for my skin, but it is very, very pigmented. But it is blending out really easily. I don't think it's blending out as easily as my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin bronzer that I love so much, or the NARS cream bronzer. I don't think I like it nearly as much as those, but it is blending out quite nicely. I think it looks quite nice on the skin. Okay, next I want to go into this Makeup Forever Artist Color Crayon. This is in the shade Swanky Mauve. Now this is supposed to be able to be used on the cheeks or the lips, or the eyes if you want to. I don't want to put it on my eyes, but I do want to use it as a blush, and I think I might use it on the lips today as well. So I did clean off that brush I used for my bronzer, and I'm just going to take it off the stick. I think this is going to be such a beautiful blush. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. That's blending beautifully. It has just enough pigment that I was able to do my whole cheek, and I just took a couple of swipes off that stick. That's beautiful. I'll have to obviously update you at the end of the month and let you know if it wore off super quickly, because that'll obviously be a deal breaker, but so far this is really pretty. Very pigmented. Before I go on with highlight, I do have one of the new Benefit highlighters, but I'm going to set everything down with the new MAC powder foundation. I grabbed the shade NW10, so the same as what I have in the liquid. I think they did introduce some new foundation shades in this lineup as well, but this one is one of their classics. I'm just going to grab my powder puff. Okay. Tons and tons of pigment there. I'm going to tap off some of that powder on the back of my hand and just go in underneath. Okay, a little dark for under the eyes. I feel like this shade is actually a little bit peachy. Really perfecting though. My goodness. Okay, one thing I'm going to say for this powder is, even though I think the shade is a little bit too peachy, the powder itself feels incredibly lightweight. Now the old powder foundation, their older formula, that was a good one. I have the wrong shade. It's more of a yellow shade, but that one I found could be a little bit heavy on my very dry skin. This one almost feels a little bit more creamy, and it feels very lightweight. I can definitely work with that. This will definitely be a go-to when I want a little extra coverage. Okay, going into that highlighter from Benefit. This is in the shade Rhea. The packaging is cute, but it is just plastic, and it doesn't feel like expensive plastic. I don't say that to be mean, but the packaging does feel a little bit cheap, kind of like their new cream bronzers, but just dipping into this. Looks like it's going to be very, very shiny. Yes, it is. That is beautiful. Same thing on the other side. See, it is very, very blingy and shiny. This shade is perfect for me. I will give it that. This shade is absolutely perfect. I do think this is one that will enhance texture just because it is so, so shiny, but it's not, it doesn't appear to be glittery. It just has a ton of shine to it. I do think it's really pretty though. I really do like this. I'm still loving the Dior powder highlight that I tried out a little while ago. Okay, so just looking in the mirror now, I feel like my blush is fading really quick, particularly on this side. I know I didn't get powder foundation on this side, but I do feel like it is fading fast. I was very deliberate with my powder foundation to only go around and clean up some edges. So I think I'm going to go ahead with the eyes, and then I'll see where we're at once we're done that. And then if it's faded a lot, I'm going to add some more blush, but I also want to see if it does continue to fade out. So for the eyes, I think I want to go in with this new YSL quad. This is the green one. This is Unexplored Garden. I know I've already played with this on camera because I did a full review of this collection, but I can't help myself. I love this quad. I love this so much. I've used this so many times. Grabbing a fluffy brush, I'm just going to go into that brown, and I'm just going to start buffing this one into the crease. I did already prime my lids with my Sigma primer, and I just set it down with what was left on my puff from my powder foundation. I kind of wanted to do a halo eye with this palette because I haven't done that yet, but I'm just not in the mood for a halo today. So I think I'll just do what I've been doing, what I've really been enjoying. I still don't know when the rest of these quads are coming to the US. I know the 2 more neutral quads are already available. I think one of you told me that the green and the red quads are not coming to the US, which is kind of strange to me. But I also don't know how much I would trust the customer service, because when I was first looking for these quads in Canada, I asked the customer service on their website when these would be available, and they said September. And they were up the next day. So I don't know how accurate their information is. All right, just going in with a smaller brush into that army green right here. And just adding this one to that outer corner. So look, I've been doing every single time I go into this quad, but it's just so pretty. Now that they have a green and a red, and we know they have pink options, I would really love to see something in a more elegant wearable purple. Because I feel like they made this green quad so wearable, so sophisticated. They did the same thing with the red one, but I would love to see something in a purple. Because I do love some purples. Okay, I'm going to go into that metallic green now with a brush, and I'm going to place it more just in the center of the lid, more toward the outer third. I just think the shades in these quads are so beautiful. They're just so easy to work with. These mattes are just so incredibly creamy. I love their sort of cream to powder like matte formula. And even their metallic formula is beautiful. What I liked about the more topper shades in this green quad as well as the red one is that they're almost like a duochrome. They have a bit of a shift to them, which I think is gorgeous. I'm going to grab this shade here with a finger and just start patting this on the inner portion of the lid. You can see how that shade looks so white in the pan. But on the lid, it has this gorgeous green shift, and it just looks so wet. Now these toppers in their quads, they often don't have much of a base to them. They're just like a very, very wet, sparkly topper. But what I love about them so much is that they are a thinner formula, so they're going to look wet on the lids without enhancing texture. They're just beautiful. Just meshing those edges with the brush I used for that metallic green. That's pretty. I really like that. And I also love that I just do not get a lot of fallout with these quads. I got a little bit from that topper, but nothing crazy. My spoolie got rid of it immediately. Okay, let me quickly curl my lashes, and we have a new mascara to try out. All right, so the new mascara I want to try out is from Swede Beauty. They did send this to me. They sent this to me with another mascara, an eyeliner, and their lash serum. So I've been testing out the lash serum, and I'm really excited about it. But this is their Cloud Mascara. This is in the shade Black. This does appear to be a rubber bristle wand, which isn't my favorite. The bristles are very, very short as well. But it kind of reminds me of the Bad Gal Bang wand, and I know I love that mascara. So let's try it out. I have just curled my lashes. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're getting some clumps here. So it is a wet formula, but it's not crazy wet. Let's try the other side. I think it's important that you don't overdo it with this mascara, because if you do, it's definitely going to clump like crazy. As of right now, I do not think I like this. This is really clumpy. I don't love that. Maybe this is one of those that gets better with time, so I will have to, of course, keep you updated, but as of right now, not a huge fan. Yeah, I just don't really feel like that did much for my lashes. I feel like initially I thought it was giving me a lot of length, but then it just got clumpy and now I feel like I didn't get a ton of length at all. I will keep trying it out because mascaras can sometimes improve after they've been open for a little bit, so I will, of course, keep you updated. As of right now, not a favorite. My blush is fading pretty quickly, especially on this side, so I do want to touch it up. I'm just going to go into Rose Haze from YSL. I'm still diehard loving this particular blush. Just adding a tiny little bit. Much better. For the lips, I'm going to go in with this new lip liner from Westman Atelier. This is their Lip Shape lip liner in the shade Petal. Now, I have used this a few times already, and it is a very creamy liner. And the shade Petal is really, really pretty. I just love how easy this is to work with. That's so, so pretty. I do want to go in with that Makeup Forever stick on top. I'm just going to take a little bit on a finger. I just want to pat this all over the lips. It actually does feel really nice on the lips. It's very creamy. I think it might be one of those products, and this is why I don't like dual lip and cheek products, because they're either very creamy and comfortable on the lips and just way too slick on the cheeks, or they're stiffer and much more long-lasting on the cheeks, but they're way too dry on the lips. And I think this is one of those products. I feel like that actually blurred out the lip line a little bit. I feel like that looks really nice on the lips. I feel like it made my lips look very soft and pillowy. Okay, let me zoom you out. I'll take the hair down and we can get into my final thoughts. All right, so this is the finished final look, and I love how everything came together today. The foundation and concealer, I've already been enjoying these for a really long time, so they were not a surprise. The MAC powder foundation, I think I really like this reformulated version because it feels so much more lightweight and comfortable on my skin. I do have very dry skin, so I'm not normally huge on going in all over the face with a powder foundation, but this one is very, very comfortable and lightweight. The old version was really good as well, but it's definitely one that I would feel on my skin and could definitely cling to dryness. Right now, I'm not really dealing with any dryness, but this looks so much nicer on the skin, and again, it's weightless. The Refi Cream Bronzer, I'm going to keep testing this out. I think I like it, but I don't think it is anything special. In my opinion, I feel like I kind of like the shade. It's not too warm. It is pigmented, but I think it has a little bit more of a rosiness to it, so it looks much more like a natural sun-kissed bronze on my skin. And it also didn't leave my skin feeling tacky where I put the product, so that's definitely points for this. I don't think I like it nearly as much as my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer or my NARS cream bronzer, but I am really enjoying it. I do think it's a good one. The Makeup Forever Artist Color Crayon, I don't know how I feel about this. I know I love the shade. I really liked it initially going on as a blush, but I feel like it faded so quickly. So it might be one that I have to wear under a powder blush. I do really like it as a lip product. It is super comfortable for that. So I will, of course, keep testing it. Maybe it was something I did wrong today that kind of made this fade so fast, but I will keep you updated. So far, I'm not overly excited about this one. The Benefit highlighter, this I really like. This is a really, really shiny highlight, and I am always down for a really beautiful shiny highlighter. I don't think that will ever change, but This is really, really pretty. I love the shade. It's perfect for me. It's definitely very, very glowy. It will enhance texture. It is one of those, but it's not really glittery. So I do appreciate that a lot as well. So I'm really loving this. I do think the packaging is a little inexpensive for the benefit price point, but it is very pretty. We already know I absolutely love the YSL eyeshadow quad. I like the look that came together today. I will never not be talking about these. I just love these so much. And then we have the Swede Cloud Mascara. I don't think I love this. Again, this is one that I'm going to have to keep testing and update you at the end of the month, because sometimes as mascaras are open, they do improve. It initially looked good, but then it just kind of got very, very clumpy and made it look like I have, you know, 3 lashes over here. So I'm not loving this so far, but will of course keep testing it and keep you updated. And finally, the Westman Atelier lip liner. I've been really, really liking this. I've worn this quite a few times. I had to sharpen it before I used it today because I've been using it so often. So I really like this. And I forgot to mention the Viseart Brow Trio. This has been an absolute staple. So even though I didn't love every single thing I tried out today, I still really like how this look came together, and I'm hopeful that as I keep trying these products, they grow on me, or I just end up liking them a lot more over time. But let me know all of your thoughts down below. I love hearing from you guys so much. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.